For more on this potential vaccine breakthrough and how the presidential transition could impact its rollout, we bring in Tom Bossert, President Trump's former Homeland Security advisor and ABC contributor. Thanks so much for joining us, Tom. Let's start out with today's promising vaccine news. How much of a game changer could this really be, keeping in mind that this potential treatment will not be rolled out widely in time to help control the surge in cases that may grow worse in the coming weeks?
Yeah, well, it depends on how long of a game you're playing. And for me, I feel as if this is only great news because it changes our expectations. Of course, it's good to celebrate those things, but we are in the middle of a shorter game right now that is tragic. The numbers have now taken a kind of a foothold that suggests that shift into exponential growth. We haven't talked about that since the early, March, February timeframe when this was first, taking hold in New York. And what we're seeing now is it taking hold in 36 New York, so to speak. Multiple places around this country, more than half the states, are seeing a kind of a threshold where they're about to head into massive exponential or geometric growth in cases and deaths and hospitalizations. And this vaccine, while very promising, is just simply not going to be in time.
I imagine that a massive vaccine rollout is difficult in the best of circumstances, but with a presidential transition underway and Trump's refusal to concede the election for now, what extra challenges do you envision, and what advice would you give to both Trump and separately to Biden?
Yeah, so there's really a number of things happening here. I'd like to see a smoother transition. There's quite a bit that goes into taking over the reins of the largest, most complex organization in the world. And although Vice President and now President-elect Biden has quite a bit of experience, his team needs kind of the keys and the access here pretty soon. And not just because it's a smooth transition that I seek, it's really because we're in the middle of this crisis. So what would I tell them? Well, I would tell them both something very similar. But I would say before you worry about logistics and concessions and all the things that I'm not going to be able to influence President Trump's thinking on, I'd urge them to at least come to terms with their widely diverging view of how to respond to this pandemic. You see, in 75 days, it won't be President Trump's responsibility anymore. It will be President-elect Biden's. But all of those governors that are going to be in office for 2 or 4 more years are going to be presiding over a whole lot of sickness and a whole lot of suffering and a whole lot of economic loss if they don't take an action now geared towards mitigation and suppression instead of what we're doing, which is to currently let it spread and wait for the pharmaceutical interventions. We're gonna really regret it. And so what I'd like them to do is come together with a common objective. They don't have to agree to who's president, but they should agree to a common objective.
And more broadly, Biden will take office in the midst of multiple crises, a health crisis, an economic crisis, political division, and social unrest. How important is it that we see a smooth transition of power and cooperation between both teams?
Yeah, ultimately, that's going to be a must, if you will. So how important is it? Very important. For right now, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing, but I'm not worried about the levers of power and about government stability and about our station in the world. If this continues, though, too far into this 75 days, it's really destructive. We've seen later transitions, shorter transitions, but we really don't want to tempt fate right now because of this crisis. And I'll tell you, my answer will change if President Trump and Vice President-elect Biden can't come to terms with needing to be on the same page. If they don't get the same objective lined up that we need a pretty massive and immediate suppression effort, then we're going to have to urge a faster transition than President Trump is clearly willing to orchestrate right now.
Tom Bossert, our thanks to you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.